Welcome to Ask the Latina. I'm your host, Terry Beltran. This program is about the opportunity to ask and learn from a Latina trailblazer, with the mission to inspire and motivate Latinas to enter a career where we just do not have enough representation. For more resources, visit our website, askthelatina.com. Welcome to Ask the Latina. My guest today is Gina Yama. I'm really glad to have her because she's a mechanical engineer, and we are in desperate need of more Latinas in this field. And it's a great field anyway, so you're going to get to learn all about it. Thank you, Gina, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I was really surprised when you asked me, and I'm more than happy to be part of your platform.
Great. Well, we're happy to have you. Well, let's first start with your heritage, where you were born, growing up, and at what point, maybe in high school, did you have an interest in going into engineering?
Yes, I was born in Belize. It's a small little country in Central America, right next to Guatemala, right under Mexico, and in the Caribbean Sea. We are part of the Caribbean family,
Mm-hmm.
so I would guess it's not really family with like a Hispanic country. However, we are in Central America, and my family are Latinos. Um, what drew me to engineering was I've always known I wanted to be an engineer. I was a small little girl trying to like go to the well, pull some water out of the well, and I would see these planes fly over me, and I'm like, that's exactly what I want to do. At some point in my life, I thought about I want to be a pilot. And then I grew curious about different things like how to fix the bike and something as simple as a pulley. How does it work? The pulley system. And these are all part of mechanical systems in engineering. And I think growing up, I had like a science fair that I went to, and I did a study in aerodynamics, and I actually got second place, which is not first place. Yet, my professor did tell me that my teacher at the time told me that I could have gotten first place if I would have just brought all of the equipment I needed,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of like pushed me more to be part of the STEM world.
Mm-hmm.
And, growing up, I didn't really have anyone to really look up to when it comes to like a mentor or a teacher or someone in my country while I was there. However, I knew that because our school system wasn't so advanced to the point where you can get a master's degree and a doctorate degree, you have to go to another country to receive that.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I wanted to do more. I wanted to be an example for young girls. Not only that, but this is something like close to my heart that, like I want to give back in that way
Mm-hmm.
to help young girls to know, like, you know what, that person looks like me, a brown person of color, like if they can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Definitely. Yeah, I love how you mentioned the pulley and everything because yeah, that's always like the interesting thing that the curiosity that led you to it. So tell me about how you prepared. I mean, you decided to study it. So where did you go and how did you prepare for that, or what was that like as well?
Well, my journey was not so easy
Mhm.
coming to America. I came to America by the age of, I believe, 12 years old.
Mhm.
Um, and it was not an easy journey for me because I think over the time I grew aware. I wasn't aware at the time, but maybe after some time where when my parents told me, try not to get in trouble, don't be doing anything that involves the police or anything like
Mhm.
that. And I think I started to realize that it became evident that I'm an undocumented immigrant. There's a lot of opportunities that I don't get as a normal American citizen. And I think the first one was wanting to get a driver's permit to drive, just like all the 16-year old students in my classes. And I couldn't do that, and although I had the skill, doesn't mean I could legally get one.
Mhm.
So that kind of made me sad. And I don't think it stopped me from what I really wanted to go and what I wanted to achieve. I think knowing that I'm an immigrant, undocumented immigrant,
Mhm.
pushed me more. Like, these are obstacles that are really hard, but what can I do? I think I look at solutions before maybe I ignore some of the problems, because the problem is still going to be there. You want to look forward and look for a solution. How can I fix this? What do I
Right.
need to work on? Is it money? Is it time? What is it that needs to be done to get to my goal? I guess because I'm so goal oriented is what pushed me to persevere through, like, where I'm at right now. Um, like I said, it wasn't an easy journey. I I come from a family full of nurses. Almost everyone in my family are nurses, and and I think it's a great experience to have a skill like that because it can be life saving. I think because when you come from a third world country, especially Philippines, um, Mexico, even like Guatemala, the first thing they push you is something that can always put food on the table, give you money to pay your bills. And nursing, there's, we're never going to run out of sick people.
Mhm.
There's hospital everywhere, and there's just shortage of nurses as well.
Yeah.
So that's the route I started when my aunt, who owns a caregiving company, gave me a job when I was like 15, 16 years old, and she trained me. Very grateful for her for doing that. Paid me under the table. That's how we made ends meet. And till this day, she has her company, and my mom and her help each other out. And I think family is what kind of like drew us together to help one another. However, I always known that perhaps this is not a job for me to do. It is, it did brought me a lot of like, um, it gave me some type of like, okay, this is great. I feel good helping people. However, I knew that, like, I am here for more. I want
Mhm.
more. I want to really do something in engineering. Like, I've always been curious. I've always been great at science, math. Um, like, I knew I had a great potential for something else, and I was only doing something that I'm not really passionate about. So it's important for you to, like, even if you think you want to be an engineer, really go into the field and really see, like, what is the work about? Do I really like it? Do I enjoy it? You know, does it bring me happiness? Do I feel like this is my purpose?
Mhm.
And after I got a taste of what nursing is about, seeing patients die in front of me, draw their last
Mhm.
breath, it's not the best environment, at least not for
Mhm.
me. Um, and then once I went into community college, because I started a math degree, which I finished, by the way, and I received one in physical science right
Oh.
before I got my engineering degree. I met great people. One of them, her name was Lorena Fonseca. She was one of the MESA STEM counselor. And I struggled a lot in math, like after I transferred to community college, because
Mhm.
I worked so many crazy hours, night shift. So like half of the time, like in class, I was sleepy, tired.
Mhm.
My brain wasn't like paying attention to the material. So I had to spend extra time after hours studying and really going to get tutored. Um, you know, and I think my perseverance through these people, like my math professor, when I first started community college. And even before that, I knew I was great at it. One of my teachers, her name was Miss Carol Todd. We'll never forget. She told me, "You're so great at math. Wow, you're going to be an engineer someday." And that always stuck in my head. And I feel like when you have great teachers and professors that give you positive feedback on your strengths, that really pushes like a young student or a young person to keep pushing forward. And I think having that support in your life really makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. That's great. So you always had that passion that you wanted to go into engineering, so that's good. You followed it. I think definitely what you said definitely about nurses. We do definitely need more Latina nurses, but likewise, we need more Latinas in engineering and STEM fields as well. So when you finished that, how did you end up where you are? I mean, as you know, you need to have. Did you take internships, or how did you prepare
Uh,
for once you finished your
no, I didn't have the opportunity to do any internships because, like I said, I was struggling with a lot of immigration
That's right.
problems. It wasn't until after going through a life changing decision that, and after I got my green card, I decided, you know what, my opportunity is not over. I'm still here. I still have energy. I still want to do this. I actually worked as a nurse for a while, as a nurse assistant with my aunt's company. And then I ended up going through like an actual nursing home and
Hmm.
getting my skills there. And I feel like because I knew I wanted to be an engineer, I applied for community college. I paid it out of pocket myself. I had my mom help me as she could, and my dad as well support me financially. At the time, uh, before I got my green card, I had to pay some of the classes out of pocket. And that's okay because like my sole purpose was to go back to school and finish my degree. Um, and then after I got my green card, I decided to go full time and just like go all out. Like I'm gonna take all the time to get it done. And if it's gonna take me 10 years to complete, I will do it. Like if it's the last thing I have to do in my life, I will do it. And then finally, I got to the point where I went back to school, transferred, went to university, and then that's when like my benefits for financial aid came in, um, which I was really happy that I don't didn't have to work as hard and I can concentrate in school full time. And I went full time, and I had a goal to finish school within 3 years. University for my bachelor's in mechanical engineering,
Hmm.
and I went to every school that I could get into, any help that I can get. I went to Cal State Long Beach for a class. I remember a summer I went to all the community college that can give me credits for those classes that I took in engineering, because there are some classes that a lot of people don't know that you can transfer those credits and they can count for your bachelor's degree, and they don't know that. So I did a lot of
Yeah.
research with the help of Lorena Fonseca and all my other counselors, and
Right.
I was so grateful for them. I'm sorry, what was your question?
No, no, I think that's great. What you're saying is you're so true. You're so right about it. I forgot about that too, that you can take credits because I know, in other podcast interviews, I know that I've heard about having to retake some of the classes. It just come
Yes.
through at a university. It could be pretty intense, but then going to the community college and retaking it and transferring it at a less cost, and sometimes it's so much more economical, as well as the load can be a little lighter in a community college than in a university. So what you're saying, you're right. A lot of us don't realize that. And I think I'm so glad that you brought that up and so how many courses and how did you do that? How many credits did you need and how many of those did you work
Oh,
through?
I actually have the paper in my room, right behind my degree, because I made a list of the dates that I wanted to complete it, and every
Mhm.
time I completed one, I put a check on it, and I put like the date I want or I anticipated to graduate.
Mhm.
I think I was just really excited of me completing the degree and really feeling like finally I did it and I put in all this hard work. And I think that was one of the most challenging things I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
Simply because I don't think anything is hard. Like, I mean, I want to rephrase that. I don't think anything is impossible to do.
Right.
As
Yeah.
so long as you put in the work, even if it's tedious. There's this stereotype. They say that Latinos or Latinas, especially women, they're not good at math or they're not good at this, they're not good at this and that. Maybe, but why don't we try?
Mhm.
What are you going to lose by trying? And it
Right.
could be the most tedious work for me. That's why I pride myself in like, okay, it can be the most tedious thing for me, but I'm going to attack that first because I know if I can get through that, I can get through all the easiest stuff. Everything
Right.
else that's not as tedious as that one. So I feel like, especially for math, like young Latinos, oh, I'm not good at math. I'm not good at science. I'm not good at it. Yeah, well, maybe you're not that great at it, but you may never know if you don't really try. So for
Mhm.
me, I believe it's um, trying to go back to school, concentrating 100% on it. And I think after some time, I'm like, okay, it's going to be hard, but I'm going to do it anyway. What am I going to lose?
Mhm.
And this is something I've really, really wanted since I can remember. Like I always knew I will be an engineer. And I think once you have that mindset, I want this. This is my steps to do it, set a goal and work towards those goals, and just be focused on it. And that's what I
Yeah.
did. And I think that's what helped me to get there.
That's great. Yeah. It's a mindset, isn't it? You're right about the math thing. It's a mindset, you know. So I remember I had an aunt and being in school, I was the same thing thinking, oh, this is mad. But then once she said,
Mhm.
if you put in your mindset that it's not that hard, it won't be. And it's true. So after a while it was, yeah, it's like you're saying, you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
And your perseverance too. So it's a great combination. That's good.
Did I
So
answer your
then,
question?
yeah, yeah, I think you did, definitely. I think I still want to know more about this, but then, so you finished that, you got that degree, and I think it's awesome how you set it aside and you have to remember and you followed that path. Something to be very
Yeah.
proud of,
So,
definitely.
so those classes were at least, I believe, 30 credits, 30 units, which you can complete in 2 to 3 years, I think.
Mhm.
For me, actually, I completed in 2 years, I think, because I
Okay,
graduated 2018 from El Camino, transferred, and then I graduated 2021. So yeah,
that's
about
cool.
2 years. Yeah.
Mm.
But I say more because I spent a lot of time before my undergrad really preparing for those classes. And I
Mhm.
did take a lot of time to go on assist.org, which is also the website where you can go look at the classes that matches with
Mhm.
your community college credits that can be transferred to the university you're going to go to. So it
Mhm.
includes UCLA, all the UCs, all the like Cal State universities, even like out of state ones. Um,
Yeah.
and it matches it with your community college if you're not going through a traditional 4 year college. I feel like a lot of community college is maybe for some people they think of it as something not that great, but I think if you go through a community college you will learn a lot of work ethic and you
Mhm.
will meet a lot of good people like professors that have worked in the industry and they can redirect you in a more clear path as to what
Mhm.
you might want to do in the future because they worked in the industry and they're retired professors, and they can tell you much more or less what you're going to get into and they actually make their courses similar to what it looks like in a real world. And I
Mhm.
think having taken those classes really prepared me for my job really because most of the
Mhm.
work that I've done using tools like CAD I
Mhm.
learned in community college versus university. You do that, but mainly it's just the last year when you have your big project to finish, and those skills are not really developed unless you come from a very like technical school, like the school I was really lucky to come from, Cal State, LA, which there it's a lot. It's full of diversity, and everyone helps each other. It's like everyone in my team was a Latino. We had a few Latinas in there, and I think it's really important to have that diversity in like schools, universities, because we know what it is to struggle and go through the struggles and have problems learning certain things. And I think we all learn differently. And I think
Mhm.
we were each other's biggest support system to get through all those classes. And I was very fortunate to have that.
Yeah. Which school did you go to?
Um, California State University, Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I imagine there's more Latinos there, so sometimes you
Yeah.
don't hear so many Latinas in engineering, or at least when I went to Michigan State, I was the only one in industrial engineering. So, yeah, it's hard when people always say, "Well, if you're in California or in Texas, you probably see more." But that's good. I think it makes a big difference when you're there with others from our same culture, going through the journey together. So, what happened when you graduated? How did you prepare for your next step?
Um, I was still working in nursing, and I think it was during the COVID, like the whole process during COVID. So I wasn't that fortunate to have that normal university experience as I really hoped for. I did
Mhm.
have it for a year, which I'm still grateful for. Um, However, like I said, we all learn differently. Some people work better doing like online, and I learned that I'm better in person. I did struggle through some classes. However, I think because I had a really great support system, we help each other out. And that's really important to have a big study group or people that can help you learn certain things, because maybe you might not learn things by reading it. Maybe you learn things from auditory hearing it and seeing
Mhm.
someone showing it to you. You know,
Mhm.
it's really important to learn your learning style.
Yeah.
But going back to your question, I'm sorry, what was your question again?
Oh, well, you were nursing. At what point did you
Oh,
start working in
yeah.
mechanical engineering?
So I took some time to, I gave myself a goal. I told myself within 3 months, I will get a job in engineering. And it was pretty much a part time job. I went through different conferences,
Mhm.
I networked. I got to know people in engineering. There is this group, conference group. While I was going to university, I attended the year prior SWE. Um, it's the
Yeah.
Society of Women Engineers. And it's a great insight because attending it in person gave me an idea of like the type of interviews, something simple as giving a pitch, pitching yourself for a job. Um, there's a lot of um, workshops that you can attend, and you can learn how to give a firm handshake, something that simple, how to dress for an interview, how to speak,
Mhm.
how to answer questions, and just pretty much like practice so that you can be successful at your job interview. And I believe that helped a lot. I also attended this conference. It was an online conference, and it would pretty much cost me nothing. Gratefully, the owner of this foundation, is it a foundation? It's a she network a lot on social media, on
Mhm.
Instagram. Her name is Diana Erecheta, and she,
Oh, yeah,
uh,
I know who that
you know
is.
her?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
she
hosts.
started like the Latina engineer then program. Yeah.
She has she has like a full week of it called the International Latina Engineering Week. And
Mhm.
I joined that group. She's one of the people that I really look up to because she brings a group of women together. How amazing is that? To
Yeah.
have a group of women engineers, and not only like mechanical but different perspective fields. And she really put so much thought into it that she matches you with different types of people, students and mentors. And I feel like that's a great insight. And she has so much workshops that she's done that also helps you how to negotiate your pay, interviews, how to fix your LinkedIn, and I think that's what really prepared me. Networking,
Mhm.
going through those events online, in person, um, reaching out to someone that you see on
Mhm.
LinkedIn, you
Yeah.
know, to help
Yeah.
you to get an insight of what it is, give you feedback, do practice interviews. And I think going to those things really did help a lot, as well
Mhm.
as my perseverance. Like I said, it was like a part-time job because I would put in 30 applications a day. A day.
Wow.
I spent hours just doing cover letters. Now it's easier because there's that the chat one, the what is it called?
Oh, geez. Yeah.
you could do it faster.
ChatGPT. Yeah.
Yeah, chat GBT.
The AI that you can put in there,
Yeah,
and it's an amazing thing. I know.
right. Now it's faster and easier, but at the
Mhm.
time I had to like fill out all these applications. And really, I would put in like at least, I think the least I would put in is 10 a day. Um, but I would strive for 30. And I did it for the first month. I got interviews back to back. I did not get an offer because I didn't have the experience. I only have my college project to go with.
Mhm.
And I also did other projects. So I gained a lot of skills, like I said, in community college. So that kind of put me ahead. And I believe within the second month, I got something right away. And I got
That's
an
great.
offer. I got a few offers actually, but the one offer that I really wanted was with AI affiliated engineers, where I got like pretty much all my experience in the real world. So
Mhm.
I think, like I said, if you really want something, go for it and really make a list of steps that you need to do to be able to achieve that. Research, network, get to know people in the field. I think that's what helped me.
That's great. Definitely. You have to, you get what you put into it. So, and that's what you did. You put a lot into it. So that was good. And so now, what's it like working in the area that you're in? You said AI a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Mechanical engineering, AI, how does that fit together?
Well, I love it. I'll tell you that. I feel like at first, I think the first week, the first 2 weeks, I felt guilty because I didn't feel like I was doing a lot of work. It's
Mhm.
just I'm not so used to using my brain a lot to do work. It's more physical, it's more like, labor, walking around a hospital. So it was different, sitting down at a desk and doing something that I really like to do, like spend hours designing something felt
Yeah.
like nothing to me, felt like fun, So it's it was interesting. And at first it was hard for me because, like I said, I felt like I was just playing around. um it was surreal, I would say, very surreal in the beginning, and I just couldn't believe it. And well, now that I really work in the field and I'm like, wow, I'm getting paid to do something I do enjoy and I really like, and to me it doesn't feel like crazy amount of work.
Mm.
And I will tell you, there are times that could be frustrating, especially when working with Excel, because you're just staring at a Excel sheet for all these hours. That's not the fun part,
Yeah.
but still surreal to me knowing that I get paid to do calculations and really use my head, like this is what I've always wanted. Um However, I originally I did want it to go into the aerospace. So right now I'm like, okay, I got the experience. I put in the time. I think I'm really going to give it a try because I work in MEP, which is pretty much in the construction industry.
Hmm.
And I'm really looking forward to transition into aerospace. So
Yeah,
I
that's
do
great.
enjoy it and I like it. Huh?
That's great. So
Yeah.
what are you working on? How are you going to transition? What's your plan for transitioning
Well,
there?
right now I've been interviewing with different companies in aerospace. I actually have one this Monday. Um,
Oh.
yeah, I've been interviewing with different companies, really nice companies that like I could see myself having a great future in. However, like I said, I don't have the experience in aerospace, and because I do have experience in engineering, and that can count as part of my experience.
Yeah.
Now, I feel comfortable to transition into like the aerospace industry and really like see what it's like being part of that, which I originally wanted to do to begin with. Because there's different industries you can go to. You can go in industrial, you can go into space and defense, you can go into
Mhm.
HVAC, which is construction. There's so many types of jobs that you can do in engineering. Um, and it's mainly that's why it's important to get that experience in even as soon as you become a student. you know I know it's not ideal to give some of your free time, but if you can do that and gain that experience early on, it's important to have that because that cuts a lot of time, like in the future after you're done with your degree. Not having that experience really can hurt you more than anything.
You're so right. It's almost a catch 22. When you come out, they're always looking for, okay, college, but where's the experience? And yet, yeah. So what you're saying there, as far as even volunteering or job shadowing, all those things are really, if you can't
Yeah,
find the internship, at least do that to where you can get some experience because it's out there. People are willing to have you, I'm sure, for a lot of companies could use someone to volunteer or to learn or job shadow. So, and it
yeah,
gets you a foot in the door too. I mean, people recognize you.
definitely. That's really important. Gets you a foot in the door is everything. Someone that gives you that opportunity, they take a chance on you and they
Yeah.
train you. And, I'm very grateful for the place that I work with, and they gave me that confidence in myself to, you know what, I think
Mhm.
this is not really what I planned for the long term, but I know
Mhm.
that I got this experience and skill and I can use some of that work ethic once I go into
Mhm.
like the field that I really, really want. And that's
I think
exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think it's great. What would you recommend to? I mean, you're from many other high school students that are probably undocumented, unfortunately, and a lot of them struggle. And I like how you persevered. It's not easy. I know it. And I think we have more organizations providing scholarships. If you're not documented, because we know education's so important and we don't want that to be hindered. You've gone through it. Is there something you would recommend someone who might be listening to you so to really understand that there is a light at the end of the tunnel?
Hmm. Yeah, I know it's for someone that's going through it, it might not be the best thing that someone tells them, oh, you're going to be okay, or don't worry, or that's not one of the best things that someone wants to hear. Um,
Yeah.
when I was when I was in that position, there were many nights where I worried about, well, how am I going to get a driver's license? Something simple like that, or how am I going to get to point A to point B just to like do my job, to do work? What if like for some reason we get a patient or someone who like actually wants me to see my social security number or something that something a normal person would have. It's really discouraging at first, and I think because I've been through so much struggle in my life that like I said, I look at things in a very positive way, gratefully. Um, I see things, I don't see problems or obstacles as or anything that you try as failure.
Mhm.
Just see it as, you know what? If I'm not going to lose anything by asking, if I get
Mhm.
a no here, I might get a yes there. I see it as, when one door closes, another bigger, better one opens. And I think that's just been my positivity ever since I've known myself, really. I don't take no for answer. If you tell me no, okay, maybe later, Um, really, there's companies
Okay.
that told me no before, and now
Yeah,
they reached out to me by themselves. So it's like,
good.
like I said, maybe it's a no now, but it's a yes later. And
Mhm.
don't be discouraged because there's a lot of people that are going through way worse. And just keep moving forward. Doesn't matter what situation you're in. Yeah, it might be not be the best day, but always look at what can I do? What's the best resources for me to achieve this? How can I get through
Mhm.
this? And make a list. And the more supporters you have, the more people you have to support you. Like if you're not great at math, where can I be good at math? How can I get over this hurdle?
Mhm.
Yeah, I have to go through tutoring. What is the best person to teach me? Or how can I like achieve this and learn this in a better
Mhm.
way? Look at all your avenues, resources. Schools have them, universities have them, colleges have them, your community has them as well. You might come across someone like me that I want to help someone, or, like, oh, you're not great at this. Oh, I can help you fix your LinkedIn, or, it could be
Mhm.
something simple like that. So I
Mhm.
think looking at your resources, it's really important. And don't be shy. Oh, I don't want to bother that person. No, don't think of, I don't know, I can do it myself. Don't be prideful. Go for it. Ask for the help
Mhm.
because no one's going to give you things just to give it to you. You have to go out there and get it yourself.
Mhm.
So yeah, let's
Very wise, very good point. I love everything you said, Gina. That's so true. So thank you. Yeah, yeah, it's so important. And also, one thing I must say that if you are out there, you know somebody who can vote.
yeah,
So a lot of this, I think, that will help a lot of the situation as far
yeah,
as immigration is if we get the right people in the right seats, and we need to make sure we exercise those in the right way with the right people, not the wrong ones. So I think if more of us Latinos that are the sleeping giants go up there and do the changes, they will come, and those opportunities will open up to more of our youth that are, not having that. But definitely, everything you advised is great. So thank you. I appreciate it, and thanks for sharing everything. So I think you've inspired our young Latinas. And probably Latinos are listening as far as
yeah,
persevere. And I love mechanical engineering, and I hope that we have you back when you're in the aeronautical space engineering, so you can tell us what that's all about because it's exciting. So yeah, so thank you. Thanks for being with us,
yeah.
and
Thank you for
have
having
you
me.
back. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna make sure we have Gina back when she's in aeronautical space engineering because I think
In
it's exciting.
aerospace, yeah.
Oh, aerospace. Yeah. When you get into aerospace engineering, we'll have
I
you
can
back.
give you
So
an update.
yeah,
Most
definitely.
likely in the next.
All right. We'll be in touch.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, this concludes our episode with Asa Latina. I hope you join us in the next one. Thank you for being with us.